There hasn't been a video like this in decades. A periscope showing the massive blast after an American sub.
If you kill Americans, if you threaten Americans anywhere on Earth, we will hunt you down without apology and without hesitation, and we will kill you.
In airspace, now this is a huge claim being made that Iran has targeted the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier.
3:47 a.m. local time. The Persian Gulf stretches flat and dark in every direction. No wind, no waves. Just a deep, oppressive silence pressing down over the water like a weight. A United States Navy aircraft carrier strike group moves steadily westward through the night. The carrier leads the formation, its massive hull cutting through the black water without effort. Over 1,000 feet of steel, aircraft, and weaponry moving as one controlled machine. 2 guided missile destroyers hold position on the port and starboard flanks. A cruiser trails behind, its radar arrays rotating slowly against the night sky. Further out, a submarine runs silent beneath the surface, invisible, listening. The formation is precise, disciplined, and alert. It has transited this stretch of water dozens of times before. Everything is normal. Then the radar operator on the lead destroyer sees something. A brief flicker on the edge of his screen. Small, fast, low altitude. He adjusts the display, narrowing the filter range. The contact reappears. Then another appears beside it. Then 3 more. He stares at the screen. The contacts are multiplying. Each one small, almost invisible against the sea clutter on the lower edge of the radar return. The operator leans forward, his eyes studying the movement patterns. They are not random. They are not birds. They are not commercial traffic. They are organized, flying in a tight formation, maintaining equal spacing, and they are accelerating. He reaches for the radio. Bridge, radar. Multiple low-altitude contacts bearing 270. Count is now 12 and still growing. Speed increasing. Course direct toward the strike group. The officer of the deck on the bridge stops. He asks for a repeat classification. The radar operator runs the contact profile through the threat library. Wingspan, speed, altitude, formation geometry, radar cross-section. The system processes for 3 seconds. Then the classification appears. Shahed-136 variant. Iranian loitering munitions. Suicide drones. 32 contacts and still climbing. All of them aimed directly at the carrier. If you want the full truth about what happened next, hit like right now so this story reaches more people. Inside the carrier's combat information center, the alarm reaches the battle watch captain within seconds. On the main tactical display, 32 bright orange icons crowd the left side of the screen. They are flying in 4 staggered rows of 8, separated by precise intervals, moving at just over 150 miles per hour, 2 meters above the surface of the water. The altitude is not an accident. Flying this low keeps them beneath the radar horizon for as long as possible. It compresses the response window. At this speed, the strike group has less than 9 minutes before the first drone reaches the carrier's hull. The battle watch captain studies the formation geometry carefully. The drones are not all aimed at the same point. They are spread across a wide front, designed to attack the carrier from multiple angles simultaneously. A saturation strike. The goal is not precision. The goal is volume. No defensive system can engage 32 targets perfectly, and the attackers know it. General quarters. The order goes out across the carrier. The alarm screams through steel corridors and aircraft hangars. Hatches seal. Damage control teams sprint to their stations. Every weapon system on the carrier and every escort ship begins powering to full combat readiness. On the destroyers, the Phalanx close-in weapon systems rotate toward the incoming threat bearing, their barrels spinning up to speed. On the cruiser, the Aegis radar locks onto the drone formation, tracking each contact individually and beginning to calculate intercept solutions. On the carrier itself, the rolling airframe missile launchers elevate toward the threat. Fire control systems assign individual targets to individual weapons. The battle stations are set. But the drones keep coming. They are already 6 miles out. The cruiser fires first. A rolling airframe missile launches from the forward deck, streaking low across the water toward the incoming drone formation. The weapon is fast and agile, designed for exactly this kind of low-altitude intercept. The first drone disappears in a brief orange flash. The cruiser fires again. Another contact erased. The destroyers begin engaging on the flanks, their missiles racing outward to meet the approaching swarm. On the tactical display inside the combat center, orange icons begin disappearing one by one. But the drones keep advancing. They are 5 miles out. Then 4. Every second, the engagement window tightens. Comment shield if you believe the United States had the right to defend itself here. The outer defense layer destroys 11 drones in the first 90 seconds. 21 remain, and now they are close enough that the nature of the engagement changes completely. At 3 miles, missiles are still effective. At 1 mile, the fight transitions to the close-in weapon systems. The Phalanx guns on both destroyers open fire simultaneously. The sound is unmistakable, a deep mechanical buzzing like a buzzsaw, each system firing at a rate of 4,500 rounds per minute. The air in front of the destroyer fills with a wall of 20mm tungsten rounds. 3 more drones vanish. Then 2 more. The lead destroyer engages a drone that breaks low and hard toward the carrier's bow. The Phalanx tracks and destroys it at 1,200 meters. On the carrier itself, its own defensive systems open fire. Another 3 drones are shredded in rapid succession. The tactical display is a chaotic mess of engagement lines, intercept solutions, and disappearing contacts. The crew works with mechanical precision, calling targets, confirming kills, reloading, engaging again. But the count is still dropping in the wrong direction. 14 drones destroyed. 18 still inbound. Then the formation splits. It is the moment the strike group commanders had feared most. Without warning, the 18 remaining drones break into 2 separate groups. 12 continue straight toward the carrier. 6 peel left and accelerate directly toward the trailing cruiser. The split forces every defensive system to divide its attention. On the tactical display, the engagement lines fracture across the screen in 2 directions at once. The cruiser immediately engages the 6 drones targeting it. Its close-in systems begin firing. But the 12 remaining drones heading for the carrier are now less than 2 miles away and accelerating. At this range, the engagement window is down to seconds per target. The carrier's defensive systems enter a full rate-of-fire cycle. Type yes if you think Iran had this planned from the beginning. 1 drone makes it through. Not because the defensive systems missed it, but because the volume of simultaneous engagements forced a brief, targeting overlap between 2 systems at the same moment. For less than 3 seconds, a single drone falls into a gap between the carrier's own Phalanx coverage arcs. It closes the final 800 meters in under 4 seconds. It is aimed at the carrier's island superstructure, the tall steel command tower rising above the flight deck. The drone is not a large weapon. Its warhead weighs less than 40 kilograms. But at this speed and angle, the impact would destroy radar arrays, damage communication systems, and potentially injure or kill crew members on the bridge level. At 400 meters, the carrier's final close-in system acquires the contact. The gun fires a fraction of a second later. Rounds reach the drone at 220 meters. The weapon detonates in midair. A brilliant white flash erupts less than 2 football fields from the carrier's superstructure. Fragments scatter across the flight deck. A small fire breaks out near a parked aircraft on the deck edge. Damage control crews reach it within 40 seconds. The fire is extinguished in under 3 minutes. On the tactical display, every incoming drone icon has now disappeared. All 32 contacts engaged. 31 destroyed before reaching the ship. 1 detonated close enough to cause minor fragment damage. The carrier is still operational. No weapon systems are offline. No aircraft are destroyed. The strike group has sustained no significant damage. But the engagement is not finished. Share this video so people understand what these attacks actually look like. Because the moment the drone swarm was destroyed, something else happened. The sonar team on the lead destroyer picked up a new contact. Not in the air. Beneath the water. A fast-moving propulsion signature cutting through the Gulf at high speed directly toward the strike group. The acoustic profile is familiar. It has been in the threat library for years. It belongs to a Fateh-class submarine. Iranian. Armed with heavyweight torpedoes. The drone swarm was not the attack. The drone swarm was the distraction. The real weapon was already beneath the surface and closing fast while every sensor and every weapon on every ship in the strike group was pointed at the sky. The sonar supervisor stares at his screen. Distance estimate less than 4 miles. Speed 18 knots. Bearing 340. The commander absorbs the information in silence for a brief moment. Then he speaks. Get helicopters airborne. Now. 2 anti-submarine warfare helicopters lift off destroyer flight decks within 60 seconds. Their rotors hammer the dark air above the Gulf as the crews begin dropping sonar buoys into the water. The buoys splash down in a wide pattern ahead of the submarine's projected course. Each one sinks and begins transmitting. The acoustic network forms quickly. Inside one helicopter, the sensor operator watches his display carefully. The submarine contact is clear now. Moving fast. Very fast for a diesel-electric boat. The captain must know the drones were destroyed. He is pushing for a firing position before the strike group can react. The helicopter crew begins calculating. They have limited time. If the submarine reaches optimal torpedo range before being engaged, it will fire. If this operation shocked you, comment Gulf below right now. The helicopter drops its first torpedo. The weapon splashes into the Gulf and immediately activates its onboard sonar, beginning to spiral downward in a search pattern. Below the surface, the Iranian submarine hears it. The distinctive ping of an active sonar seeker echoes through the hull. Inside the cramped control room, the sonar operator confirms the contact. The crew braces. The captain orders an immediate deep dive and maximum speed. The submarine pitches sharply downward, pushing toward the thermocline layer, a boundary between water temperatures where acoustic signals can bend and scatter, hiding a submarine from above. But the helicopter's torpedo is already inside the thermocline. It has already tracked through the layer. The sonar operator in the helicopter watches the two signals converge on his screen. The submarine contact and the torpedo contact move toward each other. Then they merge. The explosion rolls through the Gulf from below. The surface erupts in a violent column of white water and foam. On the sonar screens across the strike group, the submarine contact goes silent. No propulsion noise. No hull resonance. No movement. Just a heavy silence spreading through the dark water beneath the Persian Gulf. The submarine is gone. For the next 20 minutes, every sonar system in the strike group sweeps the surrounding ocean in a full-circle search pattern. Helicopters expand their search grid outward from the point of the explosion. The acoustic buoy network listens for anything still moving beneath the surface. Nothing is found. No additional submarines. No additional drone launches from the Iranian coastline. No further contacts. The strike group gradually returns to standard patrol formation. Destroyers resume their positions on the flanks. The cruiser falls back into its trail position. On the flight deck above, deck crews begin conducting damage assessments, walking the metal surface carefully and inspecting for shrapnel damage from the close detonation. Several small fragment marks are found on the deck plating near the island. One antenna array on the lower level of the superstructure shows minor impact damage. Nothing that affects the ship's operational capability. The carrier's captain stands on the bridge wing, looking out over the dark Gulf. He studies the flat black water for a long moment. Below that surface, the remains of an Iranian submarine now rest on the ocean floor. In the air above this water just minutes ago, 32 drones had been racing toward his ship. Every one of them was destroyed. His ship is still here. Still operational. Still moving forward at the same steady speed it had been before the attack began. Inside the Combat Information Center, the after-action review begins immediately. The crew walks through every decision point. The radar operator who detected the incoming drones at maximum range. The fire control teams who engaged the swarm with sequential precision. The sonar operator who identified the submarine moving beneath the drone attack. The helicopter crews who got airborne and into position fast enough to intercept before the submarine reached its firing window. The timing had been extremely tight. The drone attack had compressed the defensive window to less than 9 minutes. The submarine had used those 9 minutes to close within torpedo range under acoustic cover of the drone strike. Without fast sonar detection and a faster helicopter response, the submarine would have fired. And a torpedo at close range inside the Gulf is a different kind of threat than 32 small drones at altitude. The commander reviews the tactical sequence one more time. The geometry of the attack had been sophisticated. 2 separate weapon systems synchronized to arrive in the same time window, one designed to saturate the defensive layer from above, the other designed to penetrate it from below. If either had succeeded on its own terms, the outcome could have been different. But neither did. The defensive layers held at every point. Every warning was recognized. Every weapon was ready. Every crew member performed their function without hesitation. Outside the carrier, the Persian Gulf returns to its usual stillness. The dark water stretches in every direction toward the distant shore. The strike group moves on. The formation is intact. The carrier has not slowed. From a distance, watching the massive ship cutting steadily through the Gulf water, nothing looks different. Nothing looks changed. Except that somewhere on the ocean floor beneath this water, the fragments of an Iranian submarine now lie still. And in the warm dark air above the Gulf, the pieces of 32 drones have already sunk into the sea. The aircraft carrier continues forward at the same speed it has always maintained. Steady, controlled, and still moving. If this video kept you watching until the end, hit like, drop carrier in the comments right now, and subscribe because this channel covers the operations that never make the headlines, the real decisions, the real timelines, and the real outcomes that actually shaped what happened.